Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. Welcome to another delightful edition of the Listener Man podcast.
How the devil are you?
I've got a question for you.
Go on then.
The $6 million man and the $6 million Bionic woman. Yeah?
Yep.
Steve Austin.
Not Stone Cold, but Steve Austin. So do you know the sound effect for when they were running really fast or doing something really fast?
Yeah.
Diddly-ding, diddly-ding. No, close.
Oh no, that was Knight Rider.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Right.
When he used to look through his bionic eye.
Yeah, right.
Slow it down. What's he say? Shit.
Oh, you know the fact? Well, do you know how it was made? That sound effect?
No.
Well, the Bionic Man sound effect was created by a guy called Charles King, a sound designer, and he produced it. Well, actually, what would you guess? How do you guess he would have made? I'll give you a clue there by accident. How would you have guessed that he made that sound for such a technical high, like?
These things are all done very randomly, and it's like something very basic.
Like if you hear the sound, it sounds futuristic and technical. I'm like, oh,
no, it's not. It's probably like something played backwards, and it's like
no, it's not play. I'll give you a clue. It's not played backwards.
Okay, it's a set of spoons being chucked into a drawer.
No,
okay, what is it?
It has to be repeated.
A stone in a can. I don't know. No idea.
Right.
You know what you're going to say? Don't say.
No, yeah.
One bean in a tin.
One bean in a tin is louder than a can full of beans. That's stupid people are always loud. It was.
What are you laughing at? He's talking about you.
I know, that's what I'm laughing at.
It's a metal ruler being flicked.
It's not.
That's slowed down.
Do you know, I was thinking of that.
So when I did
and then
that,
I thought, I'll go with tin of beans one.
You can't claim half a point for that one. And you know what? I was thinking of that, but I did not say it.
I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to look like a tin of beans.
A metal ruler.
Yeah, all right,
So-
yeah, good. Yeah.
Slow down.
Not play backwards then.
Not play backwards, no.
Shame.
Good fact though, right?
Yeah, good fact. I like that.
Fact.
Yeah.
Fact.
You still haven't made a little jingle for that, have you? You could use that.
That's what it's now going to be the fact jingle. If you're a regular listener to this now, you will be in on this joke. And if you're not, then you just think I'm having a stroke.
But you can like and subscribe and you can be part of this joke. In a way.
In a way. So anyone else got any delicious facts like I've just dropped there?
Metallica.
Oh, hello.
Metallica.
You didn't say so.
So Metallica are being blamed
Do you know
for
what he says? Are you going to say so? It's so.
Metallica's being blamed for triggering an earthquake
Oh, I've heard this.
Really?
It's good, isn't it, this?
in Virginia.
Yeah.
So what they do is the Tech football team in Virginia always come out to Enter the Sandman. They play that through speakers. And they come running out onto the pitch and pom-pom girl, what do they call them?
Well,
Cheerleaders.
You've just told us.
Cheerleaders.
You obviously know.
They're all there doing the things,
Pom-pom girl.
looking very, very nice and all that malarkey. But Metallica did a live performance and they did Enter the Sandman as the Tech football team run out onto the pitch. And it was watched by 64,000 fans.
64,000 fans?
Yeah, watching a college game.
Wow.
And apparently...
But they do get massive crowds on the college games.
That's a small one.
They're grounds, at college grounds, because I've been in one, and they're huge.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Disguised as a cheerleader.
Yeah, they are. Surprisingly
Well,
big.
apparently, when they did Enter the Sandman and they come running onto the pitch, there was a mini earthquake, and they're saying that it's because of the 65,000 fans.
Right.
Didn't they get them to do something?
Enter the Sandman.
What? No, they wanted to do
Everybody enter the Sandman.
Because there's something that they're doing that.
Really?
The Sandman's like, what? No, not now. Not now.
Not 65,000 of you.
There's something that they're doing that when their team enters, they'll like jump up and go, and they jump in the bank.
Not like a
It was the
headbang, no?
jumping thing that did it.
Yeah, what is the jumping
Right.
It
thing?
was the jumping. It registered on Richter scale.
Oh, that's impressive,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's been done before
Right.
at a gig because they got so many people to do a similar sort of thing, and they asked them to do it. I forget who it was now. But I
Apparently-
heard about that this week, and I thought, that was good. But it's like, don't get me wrong, it's not like 4.6 on the Richter. It was like 0.1 or
Yeah.
0.7
Yeah,
or something
I
like
can't remember what thing it was, but yeah,
It registered.
Apparently, American audiences.
Apparently, you could feel it. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but apparently you could feel the tremor, even though it was low. They allegedly said that you could feel the tremor a mile away.
Wow, that's impressive.
You know, I mean, he does that every Sunday morning. Yeah.
People are like,
holy shit.
Yeah, exactly. Go on, you were saying.
American audiences are very different to European audiences, and then the Japanese audience.
They're different again, aren't they?
Huh?
They're different again, aren't
Yeah, they're like polite but also like very enthusiastic. But the European audiences, but they physically get involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of
Well,
audiences,
can I
See,
Can you
you've
just-
sorted it now.
so
So speaking of,
I did tell you a little bit of a fact about that, didn't I? About why people in Europe, when Bon Jovi was asked,
oh yeah,
is there a difference between American audiences and European audiences? And he said, in America, they sing to the chorus. They know the hook, they know the chorus, and everybody sings, it's great. But in Europe, especially in UK, they know all the words.
yeah.
And they'll sing along to every song.
I mean,
So okay.
Can't get away from that, can we?
You may be familiar with a certain name that I'm going to mention. Lady Gaga.
oh,
Lady Gaga.
or as she's been known on this previous podcast as the Meat Woman.
The Meat Woman.
The meat one.
The
'cause
one
I
with-
can never remember her name.
So she has broken records with a 2 million fan attendance
Oh, on
at
Rio
the
de Janeiro.
Copacabana show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
However,
However,
there is a bit of a debate about this because there's like a list of people that's done it before.
yeah.
I don't know if it's a different stretch of beach. I think this is a technicality. A different stretch of beach. Because do you know who's currently holding some sort of record for the most people attending a gig?
Now, I know it's not Madonna because she did it because she's upset because she didn't get as many.
Well, she's just upset.
She's
In
just
general,
she's just
yeah.
upset in general. You're right there, yeah.
Stones.
You got the Stones.
It's good up. It's a good one, but no, it's not number one.
No, because
No.
they got quite a few.
I think they got like
and
7
they had the
million.
record for a long
Yeah,
time.
they got well.
Go on.
Who do you think? Pick a name. I'll give
Rod
you.
Stewart.
Guns N' Roses.
Good. If he's going to say anything, it's going to be AC/DC, Guns N' Roses. Oh, that's what I said.
It was Rod Stewart.
It was Rod Stewart.
Yeah, well done. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know that.
You did know that, did you? Oh, asshole. Anyway. So anyway, yeah, it was an astonishing performance that she put on.
Yeah.
Really good. I mean, I've looked at like the footage of it, and the crowd is huge, and they've got speakers staggered. You know, what
Yeah,
looks
they're
like a
about like-
mile down the beach.
Every 500
I'm thinking-
yards, aren't they?
I'm thinking,
Why?
what's the point? Because the delay,
Yeah.
all right, you're not going to hear the delay, but you know that what you're watching isn't live because there's a few seconds behind it. And I'm thinking, like, what if you need a wee? Well, the infrastructure. What's the infrastructure like?
Don't forget, it's not like a regular gig, but in a lot of different ways.
It's a free gig. I get that.
It's a free
great.
gig. Well, it's a free gig, yeah. But what is it for?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's to bring revenue to Rio de Janeiro.
Ah, okay.
So the council or wherever it is, I don't think it's the government, but it's the local council. They put on what's closed as a free gig. So everybody thinks, good old Rod Stewart put on a free gig for us. He ain't really. He's getting paid a lot of money
Yeah.
to play that gig
Mm.
because they know that 2.5 million people
They're going to come flooding in.
are going to be all the way through Rio de Janeiro buying all. It's a way of bringing. They started it before Stones, and Stones really capped it off. Really, not capped it off.
Well, they had their own
They
like.
put a lot of impetus into
Yeah.
it, and they realised what a winner they were onto. It brings so much revenue into Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, because this influx of people wanted to see this free concert, and they just get on beach. Now, they get a bit upset, some people, because they can't, when you're there with Frisbee and, whoa, we're trying to watch Flado, and they got cricket going, a little game of beach football. You can't do any of that. It's a party.
Strictly no sandcastles.
Strictly no sandcastles.
But the gig would look tremendous, and aside from the fact...
And the sound's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad, but you are watching the screen nonetheless. If
you
you're at
have
the back,
to watch
you've
the
got to
screen.
get at the front.
Yeah.
But what I noticed is, I saw some footage of the rehearsal the day before.
Right.
So they closed off an area so she could rehearse, and she got a whole routine and set that she's running through. There's nobody there inside the actual area.
Yeah.
But surrounding it on the hillside, thousands of people singing along with every word that she's...
You've got to, haven't they?
That is incredible itself, that the people are like surrounding around for the rehearsal. But another thing that it reminded me of is the fact that, so she's called Stephanie, Lady Gaga. Stephanie something. Yeah. Not something Italian. But she apparently was a bit annoying in high school because she would always play the piano at lunch and she'd sing songs, and she was really...
Nobody likes to show off.
Well, she was really...
Well, they do in America, actually,
She was trying to be a pop star, and there was a Facebook group that lasted for a long time into a career. A Facebook group that started from high school, which was dedicated to her name, and then followed by "Will Never Be Famous."
Oh, how wrong were they?
And then she's done this,
What was the figure that she got on Copacabana?
It was like 2 million.
Yeah, 2.2 or something like that.
2.2. A lot of people, but like from
so
a
that
Facebook,
2 is a lot of people. I wish that 2 would give me £1.
From a Facebook group that a big Facebook group that would state that she would never be famous, and she's doing that. That's incredible.
Who were the clever ones now then?
Yeah. So I'm not saying play piano at lunch, but
follow your convictions.
Persist.
Yeah, I heard that.
There's no such thing as skill. It's just hard work.
Because I was surprised at that. Why did he get such a big turnout? Really? But he did. Far outstripping Stones. Far outstripping Madonna. But, fair play. You still got it. Still drag him in, I suppose. But they have all these big screens up and they put all this stuff on. And so they plough a lot of money into it.
Must be a sound engineering nightmare.
Must be.
But the people who are working on that, like the technical people, are like, Jesus.
Then there's literally half a mile away.
Like, how does the sand affect the sound? The water at the side of it, how does that affect the sound?
I thought that when I was listening to this. What happens if tide comes in? Does the tide come in that far?
There's obviously a plan for that one. But
well, yeah, but it can't come in that far, can it?
Dug a trench.
But the thing is, at the Copacabana.
Yeah. It's a big beach, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Goes for miles, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's big.
I can't think of any of the lines.
No. I always think it was a club.
Yeah, I did.
It's nice, the beach.
Yeah.
Is it? No, it's got to be a club.
I thought it was a club.
It's a club. Barry Manilow's singing about a club, isn't it?
Yeah.
Called the
Copacabana is a club.
The Copacabana is a beach.
It's a beach. Yeah. But is he singing about a beach or a club?
Well, I don't know.
Well.
Don't know.
Well, you should know.
It's up there with the pyramids and who built them, really. Is Barry Manilow singing about a club or a beach?
I've not spoke to old Bazza for ages.
Oh, Bazza. Bazza Mazza. Big bad Bazza.
Yeah.
Who built the pyramids? How did that get in there?
Well, it's one of those mega mysteries. What's Barry Manilow singing about and who built the pyramids? Copacabana or aliens built the pyramids?
Oh.
Big bad Bazza, anyway.
Don't start him on aliens.
No. Can you remember a couple of episodes ago, we spoke about the Sheffield City Council trying to shut down the Leadmill?
Yeah.
And it went to court and they got overruled, and you've got 100 year and it were owned by a company or something like that.
For those of you that don't know, Leadmill is a famous music venue that has been going years. It's got links to Peter Stringfellow. Those of you who don't know, was a famous strip club owner.
But it's got links to all major acts that's ever played in UK.
Yeah.
Well,
U2 has played there.
Have they?
I think so.
Wow.
The people that were trying to shut it down before have tried to shut it down again. And it's gone to court again. I think it was Thursday it went to court. And the courts have now changed their mind and said, yeah, all right, shut it down. You've got 3 months to get your stuff out, and then doors are shut.
It's a millionaire. So a billionaire that's bought it, and he's stripping it all back. He's got a new team in, and he's going to turn it into another venue, and it's not going to look anything like the Leadmill.
It's going to be a new venue.
I think that's the idea, but then it's not going to be anything like the Leadmill. Such a shame.
It won't be at Leadmill, will it?
No.
So I know it might be in the same building, but it won't be at Leadmill. Leadmill's been Leadmill for as long as I can remember. It looks exactly the same now.
Leadmill's a music venue.
Yeah, but it looks the same now.
So it's not going to be a music venue.
Oh.
It's a venue, but I don't know if it's going to be a music venue.
No.
It's going to be like these multi-purpose.
It could be just a club.
Eateries.
Could be.
It might be one of them where they go stacking shelves.
Oh, that was 90s, mate. That's gone.
Is it?
No, it's this.
No, it's still all that.
That's gone.
No, they still do it. They still do it.
Do they still do it?
Oh, yeah.
Well.
All them raves and dance music and all that crap.
Do you remember? You will remember this because you were part of this movement.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
1943.
1943. You know when you were sent off to war? LimeWire.
LimeWire, yeah.
Yeah. See, I know you do.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he was Dr. Virus.
Dr. Virus. Well, it was started by Mark Gorton. And it got so big, not just because you were using it, it got so big that it was estimated that it was on 1/3 of the world's computers. To be installed on 1/3 of the world's computers.
Well, I had it, you know.
Everybody had it.
Yeah.
2007.
I would have thought it'd been on more than 1/3.
Yeah.
But you think about that.
That's a lot. But
2007.
Hold on a minute.
No.
There weren't as many computers around then.
No, there wasn't. That's true. But so that's an even more remarkable achievement.
Yeah.
The more easy to come by.
There were a lot of people who use LimeWire.
The more easy to come by now, more people have got them, kids have got them on, But back then, 2007. And so what he did was, he got done. They tried to shut him down. The RIAA.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the Recording Industry Association of America.
Greatly feared organisation.
Sorry?
A greatly feared organisation.
Yeah.
They took him on your door.
They took him to court. And they said, right, we estimate that you have lost the industry $72 trillion.
Wow. Trillion.
$72 trillion. Now, we've often mentioned, when I read this article, we've often mentioned that how much money does the industry make compared to how much the people that make that music get paid? And there's a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
So they're pointing out how little they're giving to the people that's actually making
the
it.
The markup is incredible.
Yeah, 72 trillion.
I can't even
the
visualize
people
a trillion.
that made that music didn't lose 72 trillion. The people that pay them people to make that music, or the record labels that own them people that make that music, lost 72 trillion. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of money. So they took them to court, obviously, because they were losing money. What could they do? It was the early days of streaming. And basically, they were leaving a brown stain on everything. So they took them to court, and what did they settle for? Took Mark Gordon to
8 million.
No, Gorton, sorry. They took it close. No.
5 million and 2 boiled eggs.
5 million and 2 boiled eggs.
A Barnsley deal.
A Barnsley deal. No, they settled for 105 million, which he had. He made a lot of money out of it, so he paid 105 million. He had another job at the same time. When he first started out, like a broker in City.
Didn't they change it into Pirate Bay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Went to Pirate Bay. They were better as Pirate Bay than there was LimeWire.
It says that on my notes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pirate Bay.
Pirate Bay.
Pirate Bay.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they were better than LimeWire, them.
Same person. But yeah, he kept his job in City.
And he didn't get as many viruses.
It's still got his, because it stopped and then it came back as something else. And it's still going now, but under a different name, really. And it's
not as effective now because it's
not
streaming.
as effective now because everybody.
Because it's streaming. But do you know, as a little fact I've got here actually, which is timing perfectly. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
What year was the first streaming service?
Oh, it was.
And don't just think Spotify.
Oh no,
or Apple.
No, the first file sharing.
Streaming.
Oh, okay. It was Apple, and it was in it was in 99 was when they did first file sharing,
right?
2007.
2007, Wayne?
Oh, I'm going to go earlier than that. I'll go 202.
2002. 1993.
Really?
Yeah.
How can that be?
How?
So the first music streaming service.
What did they stream it to?
Well, I'm about to tell you. The first streaming music service, it was called the Internet Underground Music Archive, otherwise known as ITMA or whatever. But it was in 1993, and it was like a localized thing because obviously the bandwidth and stuff like that. But the idea of streaming was first done in 1993.
So it was like,
which is impressive.
It is really,
even for dial-up.
But that never gets spoke about, does it? The LimeWire and the file sharing that happened in 99.
No, because you're not allowed to.
Because
well, no, you're not allowed to. But
when you talk about the internet,
it will not.
But it never gets spoke about. That it was done on a local scale.
But the internet was it like not the early 80s, late 70s? But what the internet was, it was again localized, and it was like a military thing.
Yeah,
and then they expanded it out to a bigger thing. So
because nobody had the ability to connect to it.
Nobody had any idea what to do with it anyway. But yeah, so
I will say though,
I do miss dial-up.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, when you couldn't use a phone at the same time.
Yeah.
Can you come off the internet, please? There's a fire.
I will say though, if you do use things like Pirate Bay and LimeWire, the letter you get from Warner Brothers is very polite.
Yeah, please.
Well, the first one is anyway.
Does it say at the end of the letter, does it sign off? That's all, folks. I thought I saw a virus. I did.
No, they're very polite. They word it very well what they want you to start to do, and if you don't, what they will start to do.
Right?
Yeah, and then after you've unclenched your buttocks.
Yes. So we all know. So we all know. We all know. Your Time Is Gonna Come by Led Zeppelin.
Your time is gonna come.
Yeah,
do it.
First
album. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, right. Okay.
And in the background, it's got a pedal steel guitar playing.
Right.
Mr. Page.
Jimmy Page.
And when they recorded that in the afternoon, he'd only learned how to play in the morning.
Well, he was a rubbish guitar player, wasn't he? So
yeah, we tried.
Yeah.
Late in the morning.
It's first time he'd picked it up. Were in the morning of the recording of that track.
The 1970s were really like his decade. He shone through that decade.
He says, I learnt it myself in the morning, then recorded that track in afternoon in background.
Amazing.
But he did the same, Brian Jones. He picked a sitar up, didn't he? Because he fancied having to go at one. And he put it on one of his tracks a couple of days later.
Well, if you remember the film Departed, remember that film Departed with Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson's character quotes John Lennon saying, if you give me an oboe, I'll get you a effing tune out of it.
Yeah.
So these crazy people will just squeeze out something from it.
This is why not just because of my age demographic, but this is why I say that the 70s was the best period.
Yeah, well.
There was far more creative.
Yeah.
They decided to change things completely, turn everything on its head and do things completely differently.
Yeah. Late 60s, all the way through to probably very early 80s.
Yeah.
What best period? If you said 60,
there were a lot of shite.
Oh yeah, there were, but
there was a
if you
lot
said 66, 67, all the way through to 81, maybe 82.
I feel like there's potentially a slight bit of disillusion about the amount of shite that there was.
Oh, there was a lot.
Oh, there were a lot of crap.
More than there was good stuff.
There were a lot of crap.
I do, however, want to do a little side note because Jack Nicholson was mentioned today, and I just listened today a podcast with Sean Penn.
All right.
And apparently he's quite close with Jack Nicholson. And he said that there was once, he's got a story about Jack Nicholson. And he said that there were one somewhere, and there was this very healthy-looking young woman who was around, and this woman asked Jack Nicholson if he'd like to dance, and he went, "Wrong verb."
He is good, isn't he? Yeah. He is good.
Do you want another quick Zeppelin fact?
Yes.
Go on then.
Right. Many more times.
Yeah.
The track, many more times. So that is a mixture of Many More Years by Howlin' Wolf, The Hunter by Albert King. The bass riff is from Smokestack Lightning. Kisses Sweeter Than Wine, Jimmy Rogers. And Shapes of Things solo by Jeff Beck of the Yardbirds.
It's just a salad, isn't it? Just pinching bits from all sorts of things. That's
This is Page all over, though, isn't it? Because this was his trade.
Yeah.
When he was a session musician, he would
a magpie.
He would use all these little bits within his own little guitar structures.
He says all these little things that he listened to.
Yeah.
When he were writing songs, he used to try and put them in.
Yeah.
Learn how to play them. And
there's this assumption that Jimmy Page at that time has completed the guitar. He knows the guitar. He knows everything about it. He knows all the scales, but he doesn't.
No.
And all he's doing, because at that time, especially, they're making it up as they go along. Like he
did know his way around.
Yeah, but this is uncharted territory. What they were manoeuvring in.
He did know his way around, but it never got. I mean, today's guitarists are far more technically savvy than they were back then.
They know the Dory and stuff and all that.
Yeah. They're far more technically savvy than they were back then. So you only had to know.
It's gone though, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's whether it's gone
isn't
it?
And it's because of the likes of Page and Clapton and Beck that people have been able to progress and learn more and develop it and advance it. Mm-hmm. But back then, it was done on a fairly basic form. So he only needed to know a basic form.
Yeah.
And he used it to great effect.
You're picking out phrases, aren't you? Just
yeah.
John Mayer, in a recent interview, said that he was complimenting somebody that was interviewing because he does like a radio show, and he said that he gets a lot of people asking him to do a guitar album like X guitar album that he's done before, and he says he never wants to do that because the problem he's got is that a lot of people now play like him and imitate his things that he does, that he doesn't know how to like progress, so he has to move away from the guitar, do something slightly different, and not lean on the guitar so much because otherwise he's not progressing anything.
No, and that's part of his thing, isn't it? He needs to be constantly going forward with it, doesn't he?
And so what in relation to Jimmy Page, like he's progressing things.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why his golden period was the 70s, because after the 70s, when the 80s came and it was all very produced and studio work, suddenly his skill set wasn't as
not as in demand as it used to be.
No.
But I don't know, because he did session musician, didn't he? For
but the 70s and 60s are very close,
very long time.
linked.
But
that's when he met John Paul Jones, wasn't it?
It was very same. He played on a lot of tracks, over 2,000 tracks. But the stuff he was doing were I'm not going to say rudimentary. I nearly did. But it's not rudimentary. But there wasn't as much. You get a guitarist now who'll go into different modes, who'll go into different keys, who'll mix it, who'll layer it. There'll be all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff going in there. They didn't back in them days. Back
a lot
in
of
the 60s.
Post-production stuff as well.
Yeah. Oh, that was his key. That's what he really did learn.
I would say he did all production stuff,
the sound.
Didn't he? Yeah,
it was things going backwards. It were things going 10% slower than the rest of the band. It were all these different sort of things that he were doing. That's what his sweet spot was.
And he was a riff monster. And if you think about the band itself, like they didn't have a rhythm guitarist, they had a lead guitarist who was also the rhythm guitarist. So he was doing a lot. He was doing these chunky riffs, and then there would be some chord progressions in there.
There's been a lot of people called Mr. Riff and the Riff.
Yeah. Tony Iommi, he's one of them, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
It's not a patch on Page, though.
If I were going to put it on a scale of 1 to whatever, Iommi would be down bottom end of 10. You could have Page at top.
Yeah, you'd have Page at top. I think Iommi's...
You'd have Angus Young down by Iommi as well.
I think
It's
Iommi
created some iconic ones.
Iommi would be higher than 10.
It all comes down to how successful the track was, doesn't it?
Mm.
But like Jimmy Page was just a riff monster.
Yeah, it just flowed out of him, didn't it?
Mm.
Whole lot of loving.
Yeah.
What now?
If you want.
Okay.
You know the bit that is in the middle of the track that goes a little bit psychedelic, doesn't it? Yeah. The reason
That's the impression, by the way. Sorry.
The reason why Jimmy Page put that into the track is because when they first did it, the record company wanted to release it as a single. So Page thought, I'm not having that, I'll stop you. So he put that into it to stop them being released as a single.
And he won't allow him to do any singles anyway, would he?
No, that's what he didn't want. But the record company wanted
the release singles in
because
America.
of how good that was. They wanted it to be released. So he says, right, what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to play this backwards, put all this in, do all this, change this around. That'll stop them putting it out as a single.
There was a thing.
I never understood why they did put some singles out in America. Trample Underfoot, which would come off was it 4? Was Zeppelin 4?
We were either 3 or 4.
Physical Graffiti, was it?
Sorry?
Not physical graffiti.
Houses of the Holy, I think. Anyway, it was one of the latter ones. I think it was at 4.
Yeah, well,
it came off that, and it was released in North America,
right?
And it was a success. It did well, but they never did anything in UK. I think he had to bow to pressure there. I think their manager, whose name escapes me,
Grant,
big fat bloke,
Grant, Pete Grant.
Thank you, Wayne.
You're welcome.
He said he'd never release any singles. There weren't a singles band, but I think he had to bow to pressure on that one because the American market says you will release a single. So they did, and it worked. I remember buying that single anyway.
Wow.
Even on jukebox, I bought an ex-jukebox single. With, it all punched out at
big
middle.
hole in it.
Yeah, we all punched out at middle, and I bought that, and she got the Swan Song label. It was Icarus and all that malarkey. Icarus. Anyway, and I bought that.
Yeah, well.
And I thought, what am I doing with this? They don't release singles, and certainly not in UK.
No.
So it must have been an American. Were they on Atlanta?
Yeah.
Originally. In America, they were distributed by Atlanta, weren't they? So it must have been distributed by Atlanta in America, then shipped back over to England where it were made. I don't know. Complicated, but I bought a single. Ex-jukebox single.
Yes.
But the thing in the middle eighth of the song "Whole Lot of Love," where you hear the echo before the line comes in, where you hear Rob Lowe going, that was a mistake. Was that an eagle? That was a mistake because that was microphones bleeding onto one another, and they mixed it all together. And they're like, "Oh, what's this?" And they were like, "Oh, well, it sounds good. Let's keep it."
Yeah.
So that was the first time the pre-echo was in, and it was a mistake. They didn't do it on purpose,
and they realised that it was a mistake, but they realised it was quite good that, and so they did it again later. I don't know how they would replicate it though. They obviously figured out how to do it.
It was something to do with the drum mics and picking up on the vocals.
Stuff off of the mics, weren't it?
One of the things that they did with that is stuff that they'd recorded to get it all that bit weird and psychedelic stuff. What he did is he slowed the tape down but played it backwards and recorded it. So this stuff on the let's say verse bit length of that track to stop it going out as a single, which would have been played at normal speed, and to stop them doing it, he slowed it down and played it backwards.
Played them at 10%, slowed into.
So it just went very psychedelic.
I want to get technical on your ass now.
All weird and wonderful. And he says that'll stop them putting that out as a single.
A tape moves through the analog tape machines that you used to use in them days. It used to be classed at 15 inch per second.
Right.
But what they used to do is if they wanted to do anything weird and funky like that, they'd make it go shorter or faster. So that's how they achieve that. Because the standard, if you wanted to play a song that was play right.
But if them decks are spinning at 15, how did they speed it up or slow it down?
Imagine 2 tapes. It's a real 2 tapes. And it goes through 15 inch per second. So what they can do is say there's tracks where they've done, and it sounds hard, but what they've done is they've played it slower, say at 7.5 inch per second.
7.5 inch per second.
Thank you. So it's moving slower, and they've done the vocals really slow. So when they played it at full speed, it's like, it sounds like that swirly,
it's psychedelic type of tunes to it. Yeah,
I learnt that this week.
Did you?
That's the only reason I know.
I always find it interesting.
I'm not a geek.
I always find it interesting when you watch how they make music videos, certain music videos.
Yeah.
So one that comes to mind is Radiohead, where is it like everything in its place, where he's got his head in a fish tank and it fills it with water.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he's singing underwater.
Yeah.
That is played
it's
back.
Real, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's played back at a really fast speed. So he's singing the lines really quick.
Yeah.
So
he can,
yeah.
But it looks like it's slow.
And then they speed. Yeah. I always find that fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
So their face is really calm and stuff and slowed down.
Yeah.
But it's all like triple speed. And you get it a lot, even like Coldplay, Yellow.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It's all, a lot of music videos are speeded up so they can get nice smooth shots of people doing things and stuff. Yeah.
Don't they do that in Street Spirits by
Nirvana?
No.
Teen Spirit?
No.
That smells like Teen Spirit?
No.
Where they're doing the pom-poms?
No, it's not Street Spirit. Oh, what is it now? It's a Radiohead track where they're in that caravan site.
Yeah. I know the one. They did it on a lot of Radiohead songs.
God, I can't really track.
Where they're jumping into I think, what do they call it? It's not Karma Police.
No.
It's,
no,
it's not that.
No.
It's,
oh gosh.
It's something like Spirits.
Oh.
Street Spirits. Street.
Yeah, it's like Street Spirit.
Yeah. Because you're not the biggest fan, are you?
I remember us watching that music video on TV and you going, this is amazing.
Are you sure it's not Street Spirits?
I think it is.
It's a great track and it's got a great little riff that constantly runs through it.
Yeah, Street Spirit Fade Out, it's called.
Yes, that's it, yeah.
And you remember me saying...
Yeah, we were like it was from the album The Bends.
Right.
We were vibing off it. We were like, this is a brilliant song because it was unlike anything at the time. It was very it was miserable but anthemic at the same time.
Oh, you couldn't turn away from it, could you?
It's a caravan site, is it?
Yeah, it's
all
like
around the caravan site.
They're doing like a trailer park thing when they're like leaping into like.
But it was played backwards, weren't it?
Yeah.
You could not watch it.
Yeah. No, it was really good.
Yeah.
But
that was them with a lot of
it
stuff.
was a really good track as well.
Do you know that they don't like Muse? Tom York has openly said that he does not like Muse.
I can get that.
Because he says, he complains about Muse because Muse have openly said that they don't like Radiohead.
Yeah.
And he said, well, how can they not like us? Because they directly copy what we do and then they disregard any credit.
Is that not a bit tit for tat though?
It is a bit. But like Muse are pretty much like a noughties version of Radiohead.
Yeah, they're a bit old out now anyway, aren't they?
Do you know what bass player comes from Rotherham?
Is it?
Yeah.
That don't make any difference, does it?
Well, on that note,
goodbye.